welcome to the RC.
So it's not about rocket carousels.
This is Rachel and Connor. So today we'll be talking about two different topics that have to do with kind of love and relationships. The first one we're gonna talk about is whether or not you believe in soulmates. And the second one will be whether or not you believe in love at first sight.
It's interesting because I believe in one and not the other. I totally believe in love at first sight. I do not believe in soulmates.
I'm the complete opposite. I 100% believe in soulmates, but I do not believe in love at first sight.
So let's talk about this.
So the first thing that we're gonna talk about is soulmates. So it kind of depends. Everyone has a little bit of a different definition on what a soulmate is and how soulmates are kind of conceived. My definition of a soulmate and my belief in a soulmate is that there is somebody in this world that God believes you are meant to love. God has created all of us on this earth with the desire for love and the desire to be loved. And so in my own personal belief, it is that there is somebody that God created in this world who is meant to love you and who is meant to be that kind of that one. I believe that there is someone who is that one in your life.
See, now if you call soulmates that, then I kind of agree, but the general definition that most people use with soulmates is like, oh, you're destined to be with this person no matter what. And it's like, that would negate free will. Like if God had one person that he 100% you have to be with that person, then free will is gone. It's predestination. God is insisting no matter what you do, you will end up with this one person. But on my end, like, I think a greater idea is like love at first sight. Like when you meet someone and you see like, oh shoot, I know at that moment, like I was meant to be with that person. It's not like meant to be like God is insisting, but like here's a person. Like when I first met Rachel, like I saw her and I was just like, this is somebody who I definitely want to get to know, because like, I'm not saying like I was in love with her, like an actual like real physical, not physical, like a real full body love, like where it's like tingles all the way down to your toes and it's in your heart and like your heart starts pumping really fast. You know what I'm talking about? I'm getting excited just talking about this. It's more of like a interested love, you know, where it's I want to get to know you because I see you as God sees you. I see you in a loving state. I believe in that a lot more than I believe in soulmates.
See, and to contradict that, for me, I have always believed that love is such a deep and profound thing, and it's something that cannot be given just kind of freely. And so, kind of without meeting the person, I always want to get to know somebody, even if it's just going to be in a friend way. Like I'm very apprehensive when I first meet people. I've had people in my life who they were a very good friend, or I cared about them a lot, and I could honestly say I love them, and I ended up getting very hurt by it because I was so open with that love. And so for me, and I think for a lot of other people, I've come to the realization that love is something that you have to give over time. It's not something that you can just give right away. And so love at first sight is a really hard concept for me to understand, because I don't just feel this immediate love for someone. I mean, I can feel an attraction to someone, or I can like be like, oh, that person's really cute, or oh, that person's really funny and I want to hang out with them more.
I'm just really proud. That's me, and I'm happy.
Sure, babe. Anyways, for me, like, love is not something that can happen right away. It's something that you have to grow and develop in, and I don't think that you can love someone right away. You can like them, you can be like, oh, that person's kind of cool, or that person's kind of cute, or whatever, but I don't think you can love someone at first sight. And love is such a deep and profound experience and emotion that I just don't think it can be something that you can comprehend upon the first meeting. I know that there are several people that you could meet and be attracted to right away, and then it dies within like an hour even. And so for me, that's just not conceivable, I guess.
So yeah, love is an act of the will, but you have to remember, like, you call it falling in love because you fall. You don't have control. To some degree, love, yes, staying in love is an act of the will, because love is not dependent upon feelings or emotions. Like, if we immediately broke up after, you know, we've only been dating for 2 months, but if we broke up after the first time of hardship, we would have lasted
like a week?
Maybe a week.
Maybe?
Because we're both stubborn, and it's a problem. So to some degree, yeah, you do have to to be able to stay in love, it's an act of the will, but the first action of falling in love, I feel like that is more of almost a gift from God that he gives you. Like, and it kind of is a middle ground between your idea of soulmates and my idea of falling in love. Like, sometimes God will give you a nudge in the right direction. Like, one of my favorite ideas is that if you live holy, right, and you live, like C.S. Lewis said that when you fall in love, like, and your heart is broken, you try to lock up your heart like a coffin because you don't want it to get like hurt. But even though it's, you know, it's all there, it becomes hard. But if you let your heart become open, and I'm not saying like this is just against Rachel or like anyone else who suffered these pains. I suffered this for a while, like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I still have these problems with love. It's hard, guys. Relationships are hard.
It is.
When you allow your heart to open up and become raw, so that like God is able to touch it, God will poke your heart and then turn your head to say, look, that is the person that you should go talk to, because that is somebody that is ready for you. There's one of my favorite poems is by St. Anthony of Padua. It's called Be Satisfied With Me. And my favorite line that I swear I want everyone to look at this poem and memorize this poem, because it says God is preparing you and him or her to be ready at the same time. So that when you are ready and she is ready, then it will happen. Because there are really 4 circumstances. Either you're ready and she's not ready, she's ready and you're not ready, you're both ready and it's the wrong time, or you're both ready and it's the right time. I didn't come up with this, I think this is Jason Everett said this at Seek a few years ago, that those are the only 4 circumstances. 3 of them don't work, but if the right person and the right time, then God will direct your heart and it will at least start well. And where it goes from there is going to be completely dependent upon your closeness with God and you all working together to be able to grow that love.
And that's, I think, why I have come to the realization I have about soulmates. For me, I've always believed that like you would meet the right person at the right time. It was never an act of, oh, God has told you that you will be with this one person. It's always been, God knows you in the most deepest part of you, and he knows your soul and he knows your heart. And so it only makes sense that he would have a person who is made in a way that would complement it so perfectly. I grew up in a really amazing family with great parents for role models, and they were always a part of this thing called Catholic Engaged Encounter. And so they always shared their relationship and their marriage and how to make it work with other people. And even when I was really, really young, my parents would communicate with my brother and I the important things, whether it was in a romantic relationship or it was in a friendship, that, you know, there needs to be this communication. And some relationships will just work out and others won't. And it's not always due to a miscommunication. It's not always due to, you know, not being completely compatible or being people that work together. Sometimes it's just the time and it's the personalities. When we first started dating, I was very much in this place where I was like, now is probably not a good time for me because I'm just starting film school. I'm getting ready to become this huge workaholic that I am. I've got all these things that I want to do that are on my to-do list, and relationships were not a part of that. When we kind of started dating, I was very nervous right away that this would become a problem because now wasn't the right time for me. And something that I was praying a lot about and I was reading was 21 Ways to Find Your Soulmate Without Losing Your Soul. It's a book for young Catholic women.
Or Christina Lambert. Everett.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, we're bringing up both of them today, guys. It's topical. Go on, they're incredible, absolutely incredible.
They are amazing. And that's a book that I actually lent to one of my friends last year when she was in a relationship as well. And it just has some amazing points. And it just kind of tells you like all of these things about, you know, you won't always have the right time and you won't always have the right person and it won't always be right, and that's okay. Like that, it's okay if relationships don't work out. The point is when it is the right relationship and when it does work out, it will be because you were at a place, your soul was at a place, and their soul was at a place. And that's why I believe in soulmates, is because it's not just about my personality and his personality. Like we don't like all of the same things. He's really into video games and my brain cannot comprehend. I'm really into reading and I really love like numbers, puzzles, and I'm really into musical theater, and he's not as into that, and that's totally fine. Like it's not about our personalities matching perfectly that makes the relationship work. It's that both of our souls are at a place where we're meant to be coming together and pushing each other to be better. And I think that that's ultimately why relationships work and they don't work, is because there is a soul that your soul is meant to connect to someone else's and to pull them closer to Christ and to challenge them and to work together and to push that relationship for God, both with yourselves individually and with yourselves as a couple. You know, we both work at encouraging each other to pray a little bit more and we challenge to them. We talk about things like writings from different people that we've both seen or talks that we've both been to, so that we can communicate like our thoughts, and like we have different ways of praying. I really love going to group retreats and praying with a bunch of other people, and
I like tiny, small room, guitar and Jesus with a bunch of people.
So we have very different ways of balancing that. And that's 100% okay, because our souls are challenging each other to try a new way of prayer and to try a new way of connecting with God and creating a relationship with God. And I think that that's really important, is there is a soul out there that you are just going to meld with in the right way, and you're going to challenge them in the right way. And it's not just going to be about personalities. It's not just going to be about likes and dislikes. It's not going to just be about if you think that person's cute, you know. And that's why I think soulmates is something that actually is real and is really significant to people, is because there's this deepness to it, and there's this beauty to it, and it's about something just feels right about it. I mean, we talk about it all the time, like the relationship has moved very fast for us because we are in college. We've only been dating for 2 months, but for both of us it feels very right. It's very natural, and there are challenges. There have been fights, there have been disagreements, you know, there are things that we don't always agree on, and we both have to work at growing and changing to complement the other person and complement ourselves a little bit too. But the whole point is, like, it's very much, there's a willingness to work at it, I guess, and there's a willingness to grow and to develop ourselves both as people and in our spiritual sense. And we both have, you know, our own personal brokenness and our own personal issues, and both of our souls have scars and fears and everything, but it's about, like you said, like melding together. And when I'm dealing with anxiety over coordinating something, or a quiz, or I have a big writing assignment that's due and I'm stressing about it because I'm a perfectionist and it has to be right, he will know, he just seems to know always, like, what to say, and he always seems to know, like, okay, like at this moment I need to be the support for her, you know.
And that's the kind of person
and vice versa, you know, like there are times I know where he's struggling with one thing or another.
I get way over the top about it, and she is like, hey, great idea, fantastic. Have you thought about the negative drawbacks of what can make you fail and lose a lot of money? And I'm like, I promise. Goes back to my room and he puts all the information. Like, you will find the person, no matter what you call them, you will find that person who fits with you so perfectly because God has intended both of you to be at the same time. If you call that a soulmate, it's soulmate. If you call it love first sight, it's first sight. But that's the kind of person that God will send your way. I guarantee it. God will send this person your way, and it will be freaking incredible. And
it won't be on your time either, surprisingly enough.
God has his own stopwatch. Everything's his time.
Yeah.
Stopwatch, time watch, stopwatch, pocket watch. God definitely has a pocket watch. I guarantee it.
You know, it's
Wait, no, do you disagree that God has a pocket watch? Hold on.
No, I agree. I just was gonna continue on with a different thought, but you were struggling, so I think you should with her, and then I was gonna go with my point.
It's like these kind of things, like we just disagreed, but you know what? It's the things that it doesn't matter. Not really. We just had an agreement of what type of timepiece God has, and I'm gonna spoiler it. It doesn't really matter what God uses to keep time, because it's his own time. But let's get back to the topic. God's will is gonna happen. You're gonna find that person. It's gonna be perfect, and no matter what happens, finish the thought. No matter what, that person you know will be able to
fit with you. It's gonna just meld perfectly.
Complete you. Finish each other's sandwiches. That's what I was gonna say.
You realize he's the villain, right? As a resolution and conclusion to all this is that it doesn't really matter if you believe in love at first sight or soulmates or both or neither. It's, do you believe in love? An authentic, real love. And if that love is pushing you to be a better person, it's not just the cliche like, oh, that person completes me or they're my other half. It's, does this person challenge me and push me while at the same time inspiring me and supporting me? And it's finding that person that it's very natural with and it fits with. And it's gonna be work, and it's not gonna be easy, and it won't be this fairy tale, you know, you see each other across the room and you just fall in love, and it isn't gonna be like, no matter what conflict we face, like, but love conquers.
But you'll know.
You'll know, because it'll just fit.
God will tell you. He's not gonna scream at you. If he does, DM me.
You're really lucky.
Really cool. God will tell you. You'll know. It'll be incredible. That you gotta work your butt off to make it work. And you know what? I think we're gonna talk about that next week. I think we should talk about how communication helps keep relationship going. So that's gonna be next week's topic, so make sure to tune in Tuesday next week to figure out the next episode of the RC. Figure it out, just kidding, I just said it. Watch the next episode of the RC where we talk about compromising communication. So that'll be next week's episode. Tune in next week, Tuesday, to check out our discussion on how to communicate and compromise with your significant other.
Thank you so much for coming here today, for joining our crew. Remember, if you like our videos or even just like us or anything, hit the subscribe button down below. It's the red one. The subscribe, it's done. And also you can check out our Instagram. We post every day on Tuesdays along with our videos.
And what is the Instagram?
The Instagram is the RC Catholics. So, and that will be linked below as well. So if you are interested, we'd love to share it with you. We'd love for you guys to comment below as well. Comment either here or on our Instagram post. We just want to hear your thoughts, answer any questions you have. If you guys have any suggestions for topics that you want us to talk about, we can't wait to see you guys next week. Thank you so much for joining our crew, and as always,
keep it real.